Do you hate Donald Trump? Do you hate Joe Biden? Maybe you even hate the government. If that's the case, the Libertarian Party is working hard to make sure you have an option on the ballot that hates Trump, Biden, and the government just as much as you do. On May 22nd, the Libertarian Party will be holding a vote amongst party delegates to determine who will be their nominee. Former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson was the party's nominee in 2012 and 2016, but after disappointing performances in those campaigns, he is not seeking the nomination this year. Not to mention that he probably couldn't get the nomination because a lot of people in the party kind of hate him. Recently, Justin Amash, who was a favorite to win, dropped out of the race, leaving the nomination wide open. There are a ton of candidates running, so I'm not going to discuss all of them. I'm going to start with the people who have the best chance and then cover some of the other candidates who are running who are notable. First up, Judge Jim Gray was born in D.C. and raised in Southern California.
So let's all get together. I make you a guarantee. As soon as we come to our senses and repeal drug prohibition, all of us, within a year, maybe two, will join hands, look back, be aghast, and we could have perpetuated such a failed system for so long.
He received his law degree from USC and served as a judge in California from 1983 to 2009. During his time as a judge, he dealt largely with drug crime and has been an advocate for drug reform and legalization for decades. Jim Gray was the party's vice presidential nominee in 2012, running alongside Gary Johnson. While drug reform is a main issue of the campaign, he is also focused on cutting government spending, bringing home troops, and limiting regulations. Gray has massive support and name recognition in the party, making him a likely winner of the nomination. Some in the radical wing of the party have criticized him for not being libertarian enough. He's run for office before and has experience campaigning. His popularity in the party, experience in campaigning alongside Larry Sharpe, may boost him to a victory. Next up is Jacob Hornberger. He was born in Texas and is a veteran of the U.S. Army Reserves.
I'm Jacob Hornberger, a candidate for your nomination for President of the United States. When I entered this race 6 months ago, it was with one aim in mind. I want to live in a free society.
Hornberger was a practicing attorney until he founded a libertarian nonprofit advocacy group called the Future Freedom Foundation in 1989. Hornberger is mainly focused on economic issues, immigration reform, and limiting the federal government to fundamental functions. Hornberger is very popular amongst the party, winning multiple primary contests with his principled message and long history of libertarian activism. Some of his critics don't believe he is loyal to the party, though, and some don't think he would be able to achieve major media attention. However, his fundamental minimalist views have made him a popular candidate. Jo Jorgensen has an impressive background. She was the Libertarian Party's vice presidential nominee in 1996. She's a psychology professor at Clemson University. She has advocated and worked within the party for nearly 40 years. Her campaign covers a wide range of issues, mainly focusing on growing membership to the Libertarian Party. Jorgensen is popular among people in the party. Why hasn't she gained more traction in the race? I'd say it's because she's just kind of awkward and dry to listen to. Take a look.
Republican politicians give us the political equivalent of 1-900 phone sex. They tease us and tempt us. They tell us how good it's going to be. But they never come over.
Yeah, that was pretty dry. Jorgensen has a chance of winning the nomination, but doesn't have a very large support base and may struggle to draw media attention. Adam Kokesh is a Marine Corps veteran who's kind of a badass and is super passionate about hating the government. He's largely viewed as the most radical candidate in the race, making him somewhat popular in a party full of radicals. He wants to become president to dissolve the government, kind of? I'll let him explain.
America is too good for this government. It's time for us to be united in freedom instead of government. And my proposal is the localization of the federal government, dissolving it through a bankruptcy process in a peaceful, orderly, responsible manner that would leave us with 50 independent states and, of course, up to 562 sovereign native nations.
I think it will be difficult to get a lot of the delegates to buy into this plan, but he's very well known in the party and is popular. Joke candidate Vermin Supreme is on his 5th presidential campaign. He wears a boot on his head, talks about ponies more than any other candidate.
Hells yeah, man. The guy's a gangster, but we knew that going in.
Supreme did surprisingly well in primaries, basing his campaign on polite jokes about Republicans and Democrats, along with using his personality as a metaphor for the electoral process. Supreme has a ton of support among young people, toting a larger social media influence than most of the other candidates. However, he does not have a very principled libertarian message and lacks party support. He's kind of like the libertarian version of Bernie Sanders. Except he's got a boot on his head, and he really likes ponies. Kind of fitting for the Libertarians. Now to quickly go through some other candidates. Dan Taxation is Theft Berman is running for president because he believes taxation is theft so much that he changed his name and wears this ridiculous hat on his head. Unlikely to win, but happy to provide his input, Berman does not even live in the United States. Sam Robb is running on a more moderate platform than most other candidates, trying to use his background to appeal to current Democrats. Robb has a killer headshot, but probably won't win. Kenneth Blevins is running on term limits for Congress, congressional retirement, and cutting congressional health care. Seems like this guy really hates Congress. What's important, though, is that Blevins has the best beard in the race. Finally, Keenan Dunham is running on some lesser-known issues such as term limits, the non-aggression principle, and jury nullification. Dunham is essentially unknown, just like the issues he advocates for. Which of these candidates do you like the most? Who do you think will win the nomination? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.